Good day, everybody. My name's Eric, and it's journaling time once again. For the next 5 journal sessions we're going to be having, I'm going to be doing a back-to-school set of prompts. Just in lieu, students are going back to school, so I wanted to do some prompts that could help them get prepared for school. And this could be for parents, could be for college students, could be for really anybody. And I'm going to be paralleling these prompts off of my upcoming book, Executive Functions for Student Success. And we're just going to be brainstorming the rough ideas of each pillar or each big section of the book to kind of flesh out the ideas and ways to start updating or optimizing your personal workspace, your personal area, your optimizations and systems and things like that. So that way students can be prepared for school and perform to the best of ability. But once again, this isn't just limited to students. This could be if you have an office, this could be if you have a room, or if you're doing something that you're not a student, just where you work, or if you're a creative person, whatever it may be. Just kind of, I'm going to be using a student example. I'm going to be using a student area as an example of what questions or how to kind of go about thinking about it so we can use it as a journaling prompt. And I totally recommend that you go on the channel and watch the executive functions on environment. And there's a few videos on there where I go in very detail and breaking down the room or the environment to go and build it up from scratch so you have personal efficiency for your success. Once again, I'm using it for students, but it could be easily adjusted for if it's an office or if it's a creative area. If you're like my mother, she loves to do quilting. So, I mean, all these kind of thinking you can adjust to whatever your personal intent is, whatever you happen to be doing, excuse me. So for today, we're going to be focusing on environment. That's the first section of the executive functions, our physical space. This is where we get things done. And if I'm using students as an example, this is where students will have a place where they can go to get homework done, to read, to have a computer to get things typed up, to communicate. They have enough space to write all these things, and also places where they can store their supplies, and also more importantly, where they're not going to be distracted. If you don't want to have an environment where you're trying to be creative or trying to get work done, if it's in a high traffic area. Once again, please review to the other videos. I go in much more detail in breaking this down. And in reality, the first way to kind of go about thinking about these things is, what is your intent? What is the intent of the environment when you're trying to work on getting something done? So I'll use also this desk right here, my personal desk behind me. This desk is my writing desk, and I specifically found this online. It's a used desk, and I got it for very inexpensive. And I specifically got this desk because it's my creative, this is my writing area. This is where I'm creative. This is not my digital area where I'm editing or filming or working with students, because I find that if I physically could do it there's nothing stopping me, but it's not as stimulating me in a creative sense. Plus I have a couple monitors and there's some other electronic stuff that just doesn't give me the space to kind of be creative. But also too, and I actually learned this from reading a book by Stephen King, and I believe it was called On Writing, and he talks about the craft of writing. And he talks about one of the first things is also having your far-seeing place. And this is an environment where he wrote. This is where he's creative. He's coming up with ideas and stories and using his imagination. So you want an environment or an area that's going to stimulate you. So if you look here at my desk, I don't have any electronics here. I have some lights to kind of spark the creativity. It's more crafty. You'll notice that there's some images in the back. And I'll point out something here too. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a picture here, and it's looking out of a window. And this is my scene that I see when I go travel to Alexandria, Egypt, and I go to my cafe, even though the cafe's changed names a few times. And I sit in that spot and I look over the Mediterranean, and this is called the Stanley. You can look it up. Anyways, the point is that's where I go there. And even when I travel to Egypt once a year, when I go there, that's where I write. That's where I write in my journal, or that's where I'm being creative. I'm writing some of my other creative projects I have. And I've established that area. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with this prompt today, is we're trying to figure out the intent for our environment so we can be productive in our workspace. And a lot of people may have not really thought about it. You know, they may think, oh, I have a desk and I have to do computer stuff and I do this, and I've seen students, they have Game Boys on it. I mean, it's just you're crossing the streams of many different functions. So whatever the main intent of your environment is, once again, I'm using it from a student example, but this could be for your office, it could be for your, if you're an influencer, excuse me, or if you want to draw, or whatever it is that you do. Whatever that intent is, that's what we're going to be focusing on today. And then how can you optimize that for being its most efficient case, so to speak. So in today's prompt, how can we optimize our environment is kind of the general setting. Or a better way to say it would be, what is the intent of your workspace environment? And I want you to, when you're doing this prompt, to flesh out all the main functionalities of this intent. So once again, for students, this would be to get homework done, not be distracted, have access to all the supplies, so you can get it done at a high quality and also very efficient. And a lot of people may have not really thought about that. And I see students all the time, they're bouncing around different areas trying to get work done because, you know, usually they want to go with their friends or they want to do other activities, and then the quality of the work can suffer because they're doing it in different spots. Once you establish a good environment and you've been there for a while and you're consistent, whenever you sit down there, just like when I sit down at this desk, I feel ready to write. I feel ready to want to get my journal books out and do my thing. And that's why I keep my journals in this desk drawer. And it becomes kind of like a stimulus. You sit down here and you see the little way, however you've defined your work area artistically, and it makes you want to get to work or makes you want to do the craft, so to speak. But one thing, remember, function first and then aesthetics. And let me remind you, please just watch the videos in the future and it'll go in more and more detail. So today's prompt, what is the intent of your workspace environment? Before we get going, please like and share. It's always greatly appreciated. And leave prompts in the comments section. I'm always looking for, you know, new prompts and new things to do and how to use journaling for the benefit of everybody. And if you need any new journal books, please follow the link in the description. The journal, different styles we have, you saw in the opening intro of this video. And without any further ado, let's get to journaling. So, get your favorite beverage, get your journal book, whatever it may be, and let's get to work. So, one second. Okay, so, location, mood, date, and time for me. So once again, what is the intent of your workspace environment? Flesh out all the things that you want to be able to do in this environment and just let them come out naturally and see how we go. And Wiley wishes us a good writing session. Enjoy the process, everybody. Okay. I hope everybody had a good journaling session. Hopefully you got some ideas fleshed out of the intent for your workspace. And remember, optimize the intent, or I should say, brainstorm the intent for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Once again, I use a student because that's what's coming from my new book coming up on student success. But it's good to flesh out these ideas. And once again, this is the power of journaling. Within 20 minutes or so of us just writing whatever we want with a kind of guiding prompt, it allows us to flesh out ideas that may have been in the back of our subconscious. And those ideas, after you walk away from this journaling session for a little bit, they may bounce around your head, and then you can come back to it, read what you wrote, make a list of some of the items that you like, or some of the ideas or tactics or things you may have to get to optimize it. Or maybe you have to reorganize the room or reorganize the desk, or maybe you want to take everything out and start from scratch. Once again, the videos I have before are great for that because I go into explicit detail on how to go about putting things in the right spot in the room and things like that nature, so it's optimized for personal success. Anyways, I hope you had a nice journaling session, and we'll see you again soon. And remember, enjoy the process. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.